Okay, I hope everyone's having a nice weekend. Looking forward to a bit of a market update. Um, the members got a bunch of updates this weekend as well. Check those out if you haven't already. We did some low time frame Bitcoin. We did MicroStrategy. We did CleanSpark. We did Tesla. We added Tilray. We added Baba. We added Mobileye at the request of some of the members. And then also looked at the dollar and Mara as well. And so, what am I doing today? I'm going to do three things. Today, I'm going to do three things. Specifically, I'm going to be looking at a member request here at Microsoft. But what I'm going to do with this is a little exercise just to kind of give the folks that are newer to the channel a bit of a perspective on what I do, kind of combining trend analysis with Elliott Wave, as well as just general, just market structure in terms of what that tells me in combination of all three, and some Wyckoff principles as well. And so I'm going to use Microsoft because that was one of the members' requests, and kind of analyze the high time frame through the lens of those three things. And then again, for the members, anything you guys want to see, let me know in the comments. Happy to do this exercise with multiple other names. So after this, we're going to do, again, a high time frame on Bitcoin. What am I looking for in terms of potential topping signals? I don't think we're anywhere near there yet, right? I think at least a couple of months of continued expansion is on the way. But what will I be looking for? Go through that using a high time frame chart, and then a little bit of low time frame speculation again, and then I'll use WGMI as a proxy for miners, and then we'll call it a day. So Microsoft, I've got no position in Microsoft again, and a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't take any of this as any kind of financial advice, right? Markets could go up, down, sideways. I'm just presenting you my beliefs. As always, I could be wrong. That being said, let's just look at this. This is a weekly chart going back to the inception of Microsoft. And what do we essentially have here, right? We've got trending markets, and we've got trending markets, right? Clear trend. We have clear sideways, right? And we have clear trend. Okay. So the question is always to me on the high time frame, where are we in respect to the current trend? The question everyone wants to know, where does that trend terminate? And that answer is the toughest. But I will start by just saying, in general, a lot of the things that I talk about with Bitcoin in terms of the bull flags and the bull pennants and whatever time frame, I don't subscribe to. I think there's some folks with a lot bigger reputations than myself that have said and stated in books like bull flags can only last a certain amount of time, right? Once you get past, what is it, 6 weeks? I don't even know because I don't subscribe to that, right? Once you get past a certain amount of time, then that flag is, depending on how big it is no longer valid, right? Or can't go on for a certain amount of time. I don't believe in that because in my mind, a bull flag is simply, is an A, B, C correction, okay? A, B, C correction, or a bull pennant, right? A bull pennant is just an A, whoop, an B running flat correction or triangle correction. I mean, these things are all just different terms for corrections, and corrections can last years. Corrections can last days. Corrections can last hours, depending on the time frame and the setup that we're looking at, right? So for those of you, again, that have been following me, I use a lot of Elliott Wave, right? We have impulsive movements that generally have 90% of the time plus have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave movements. And within these 5 wave movements, right, within this, let's say this fifth impulse up here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave movements. Within this fifth impulse here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave movements. That's wrong. Third can't be the shortest. But you get what I'm saying here, right, folks? So the time component is not as important to me because the market moves whatever time frame you're on. Generally speaking, in the same fashion. And so if we're looking at Microsoft, first thing I always do, and this is an exercise you can take with you to anything that you're looking at, right? I put up the 30-week, I like line because it's clear, and I put up the 30-week moving average. 30-week moving average tells me pretty quickly what the trend is, right? Here, not like I really needed it, but you got your 30-week in red, and we have very clear respect of this 30-week, right? Very clear respect of this 30-week. Where was the first time it didn't respect the 30-week? Here, 1998. Okay, what happened after that? No close, rejection, rejection, rejection. And the market essentially was flat for the next 10 years. Okay, reaccumulation. Or on a smaller time frame, downtrend here, right? Downtrend, basing, large basing, uptrend. And so, at the same time, we can also see these relationships in energy form, right? And so let me get rid of the 30. So if we're going back to, let me zoom in. Let me just zoom in because this is a fun exercise and you can use this for whatever you look at, whatever you're doing. Um, we have reaccumulations within uptrends. Okay, reaccumulations within uptrends. My favorite tool to identify reaccumulations are there's this little rectangle, right? Reaccumulation, bull flag, whatever you want to call it, rectangle. It's like it's all these are all the same things. I don't care what shape it is, right? How long did this one last? This one lasted 884 days approximately. How long did this reaccumulation and uptrend last? 852 days, big surprise. What was the relationship between the uptrend, the impulse coming into it, and the impulse coming out of it? What do you all so often hear me say, right? Equal to or greater. What do we have there? We have equal to actually greater. Okay. What was the relationship between the impulse that led into this correction, reaccumulation, whatever you want to call it, clone, and that coming out of it? Equal to or greater. Okay. So the time component of this consolidation, this rectangle, whatever you want to call it, didn't matter because it was proportionate to the energy or the impulse that came into it. Proportionate at a minimum equal to, if not greater than, we find that theory in physics. It's called Hooke's law. See the kind of the spring analogy or the rubber band, right? With the force that you exert in one direction, you're going to let it go. It's going to be equal to or greater than the force that was exerted on it in the first place in the opposite direction. Same concept we see a lot in finances as well. All right. So then we have massive uptrend. Let's look at our 30-week. Again, we identified where the potential structure on the trend was broken, and that was a signal. That was a signal here to a massive reaccumulation that was in essence proportionate to the massive impulse that came into it, right? Look at that. Look at those proportions. And so, not that I would ever, say that, okay, coming out of it, we should expect something like that because that's really stretching it. But the point is since this reaccumulation, we have now since 2013, since 2010, have seen negotiation around the 30 and continuation of the dominant highest time frame trend, which has been up. All right, where this fooled us is not everything is foolproof as well, right, folks? Back in 2022, what do we see here? Well, we saw a breach of the 30-week, a retest underside rejection, but a higher low was established, a reclaim, and then trend continuation. Okay, trend continuation. And so what we have in essence going on since is, just another form of a reaccumulation right here. Okay. And if I really zoom in, we've got Wyckoff going on here too, right? We've got, the Wyckoff the major Wyckoff back here, right? Major Wyckoff back here. Why do I say that, right? We have, your preliminary supply, selling climax. You got this kind of test back here, running up thrust, and then spring. How is that a spring? Look at that. Let's throw volume up. That's a spring volume right there, isn't it? Spring volume, highest volume candle across this entire uh, 10 years. And so there's Wyckoff. You had a last point of support, sign of strength, sign of strength, sign of strength, back up to the last point of support, and now expansion. This is taking longer than I expected, but I think it's important because, again, this is not a ticker I've ever looked at before like this, and I'm doing this basically in essence in real time for you folks. Okay, so that you can do it, you can learn to do it yourself. So now we've got monthly chart on what I'm calling a reaccumulation, and which is why I always said this correction in 2022 is just what I was expecting, a V shape in the direction of the dominant trend, right? And that's what we got. But from a Wyckoff standpoint, again, buying climax, right? You get this selling climax, spring test, right? Spring test, back up last point of support, and now it's expansion. And this is early stage expansion. And for all intents and purposes, what I believe is a reaccumulation that's going on here in the form of this consolidation over the course of the last few months. And from an Elliott wave perspective, let's just zoom out. Let me see if I can apply some counts here, clean this up a little bit. Clean this up a little bit and apply some counts. And again, those poles, those flag poles are impulses. The rectangles are just simply corrections. And so, I see a 1, 2, I see a 3, 4, and then I see an extended fifth wave. Folks, you've seen me, that they follow me on X. I'm claiming I believe Bitcoin is in an extended fifth right now, or starting an extended fifth. That's what an extended fifth looks like. Okay. Microsoft from 1994 to 1999. Then we have a prolonged correction, A, B, C, okay, proportionate to the major impulse that came into it. That lines up. And then since then, what do I see? I see, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, working on 5. And what I see here is an extended third. Look how large that third is, right? That's how I'm interpreting this. And we won't know if this is fact. This is my interpretation until whatever happens next unfolds and we can look back on it, right? This is just my interpretation so far. This looks like an extended third to me. And so my base case here with Microsoft is, if we're really going to get granular, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so this could be working on a 1, 2. This could be interpreted in many different ways, but let's just call it, potentially a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type scenario. Something to that effect. So if and when this consolidation finishes here, I would expect resumption in the trend. This is looking like a flat correction to me. So, I don't know. Let's kind of zoom in on the weekly chart and take a view based on the weekly. Microsoft right now is on the weekly chart negotiating under this 30 week. And so I don't like seeing that. So there's certainly a case to be made for, an expanded flat type correction that's going on right now, or we've got, A, B, and then C, so maybe a little bit further down before resumption. Uh, and then you get, some type of wedge pattern there, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not that's just pure speculation. Just looking at the weekly chart, how it's struggling to get up over it. I mean, it could get up over it next week and fool everyone that's looking at that 30-week like me. But again, the trend here to me is up. And so my expectation is at a minimum continuation. Once this correction concludes, when and if it concludes, continuation up. That took a while, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of how I look at things from that perspective. Now let's get into Bitcoin. I'm hearing, again, I'm hearing a lot of calls for tops. Folks, when we're at a top, you're not going to hear anybody and again, I could be wrong, but you're not going to hear anybody claiming or calling it to be a top, because this time is going to be different. We're in a new paradigm. Things are going to change. We're, going to 1 million this cycle, that kind of thought and commentary. And so here I've got a monthly chart up of Bitcoin, and I'm going to put this up in line. So I've got my trend line touches. I've got 3 touches here. I'm going to put it in line because it's easier to view. And again, I'm going to put RSI up. May have done this exercise a couple weeks ago, but that's okay. We'd like to reinforce the important messaging here from my perspective. And the power behind the move, on a monthly time frame, has not even gotten to historic, top areas, right? We are at 75 on a monthly RSI. Once we start getting near this trend line here, 90, 80, 89, 88, that's when I'll start to be a bit more cautious. But for now, we're nowhere near it. For now, from a structural standpoint, we are mimicking the action of, again, going back to my concept that I just shared from Microsoft, right? If we're looking at the proportions of impulse, correction, impulse, right? Flag, pole, right? We have correction, we have this impulse, we have proportionate impulses moving out. Large correction, reaccumulation, proportionate energy is released. Huge, massive reaccumulation, spring, and at a minimum, a proportionate response coming out of it would take us to 200 plus, 260, 300, maybe even more. And so for now, it's very premature, in my opinion, to be looking for any kind of top. Trading this is just not a wise decision, in my opinion. The dominant trend is very, very powerful, very, very powerful. Let's go to the low time frame for some speculation. Here I have the 4-hour chart up, and again, this is just looking fantastic, right? Looking fantastic. We're in a very powerful uptrend. And what is the market doing? Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? And so are we trying to project, every little tick here? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, but I'm going to be wrong, right? To a degree, as I'm trying to do this. This is just more for fun, not actionable at all, folks. But on the lower time frames, what I am seeing, again, is just impulsive, flat corrections. Very, very much what you want to see in early stage expansion. Case can be made for, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You had a flat, A, B, C correction here. Now maybe we got a 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think we're working on moving into 5 towards the end of the month, early December. Again, I don't the technical target of this entire structure breaking out isn't anywhere near where we are right now. 100K is not a technical target. It is not. It's a psychological target. It is not a technical target. What do I mean by that? Let me show you. It's not a technical target. Expressed, the energy expressed coming into this correction from a very conservative perspective, coming out of it is 130, 135 to 140, 135 to 140 at a minimum is the closest technical target before any type of consolidation could be expected. And so that's how I'm looking at this. WGMI, I've got this in line form, folks. Line form, and what do we notice here with WGMI? From a line perspective, we are at the highest weekly close ever in the history of this index, which is the Bitcoin miner ETF. Highest weekly close. And again, the local technical target of, just this little inverse head and shoulders, 35, 34, 35, 36 is higher from where we are before I'm going to expect any type of consolidation. And so I'm expecting continuation on the Bitcoin miners. Mara seems to be leading the way, like I reviewed in that video, the members video. And so very constructive here as well. We'll continue to monitor. Hope you all have a great rest of the weekend. Thanks for your support. Take care.